When you're solving an equation by completing the square, it always helps to go step by step. So I'm going to start by step 1, which is to divide the entire equation by the coefficient of x squared. So in this case, let's see, our x squared has coefficient 3. So I'm going to take the entire equation, that is 3x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0, and just divide the whole thing by 3 on both sides. So on the left hand side, I get 3x squared over 3 is just x squared. Negative 2x over 3 is negative 2 over 3x. And then negative 8 over 3 equals 0, as 0 divided by 3 is 0. Now that I've done that, I can move over to step 2, which is to move the constant term over to the other side. So in this case, my constant term is negative 8 over 3. In order to move it to the other side, I'm going to add 8 over 3 to both sides of the equation. So now my new equation is x squared minus 2 over 3x equals positive 8 over 3. Since what I did here was cancel 8 over 3 from the left hand side and just add it over to the right hand side. Okay, now that step 2 is done, we come to the most important step for completing the square. That is finding a very, very special term. What you're going to do is you're going to take the coefficient of x and you're going to multiply it by 1/2 and then square it. So we are going to locate the coefficient of x, which in this case is 2 over 3. We'll also keep in mind the sign. It's negative 2 over 3. And so we take negative 2 over 3 and multiply it by 1/2 and then square it. Let's simplify this a little bit. So the 2's cancel and I'm left with negative 1/3 squared, which is positive 1/9. Negative number squared is positive. So that's step 3. And now we move over to step 4, in which we take this very, very important term and we add this term to both sides of our equation. So remember how the equation that you had before you did step 3 was x squared minus 2 over 3x equals 8 over 3. What you're going to do now is you're going to add 1 over 9 to both sides of the equation. Why does this help? This helps because if you go to the next step, now what you're going to do in step 5 is you're going to simplify the two sides of the equation. In order to simplify the two sides of the equation, you're going to see that the left hand side is a perfect square. Okay, how do we see this? Remember that there's a formula which is a minus b the whole squared is a squared minus 2 times a times b plus b squared. So if you look at the left hand side of this equation, you have x squared and you have negative 2 times x times 1 over 3, and then you have positive negative 1/3 the whole square. The only reason why I wrote, or in this case, sorry, it's positive 1/3 the whole square. So this gives you that the left hand side is a perfect square of x minus 1/3 the whole squared. If you don't want to remember the formula, an easy trick to think about this is all you need to do is go back to the coefficient of x times 1/2 that you squared, that was negative 1/3. It's just going to be x minus that term squared, or x plus that term squared. Okay, and then on the right hand side, we want to be able to simplify 8 over 3 plus 1 over 9. So we're going to find the LCD for both these terms. The LCD of 3 and 9 is just 9. So I'm going to try to rewrite this with the common denominator of 9. So I have 1, and then 3 times 3 gives me 9. Let me choose a different color so you can see what I'm doing here. 3 times 3 is what gives me 9. But if I multiply the denominator by 3, I also need to multiply the numerator by 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. plus 1 over 9. So that gives me 25 over 9. So I have x minus 1 over 3, the whole squared, is 25 over 9. Now I can go back to the beginning and fill in the blanks. So I have x minus 1 over 3, the whole squared, is 25 over 9. And this is great because now to solve for x, all I need to do is solve this equation. X minus 1 over 3 the whole squared equals 25 over 9. Since I have a square on one side, what I'm going to do is just use the square root method to solve this. So it's good to note that 25 over 9 is nothing but 5 over 3 the whole squared. Or I could also say that 25 over 9 is negative 5 over 3 the whole squared, which means I can take this equation and split it up in two ways. I can either say that x minus 1 over 3 is equal to 5 over 3, or I can say that x minus 1 over 3 is equal to negative 5 over 3. These are just very simple linear equations I need to solve now. So to get rid of the 1 over 3, I add 1 over 3 to both sides of the equation, and I can do this for both of these equations. So I get x is 5 over 3 plus 1 over 3, which is 6 over 3, or I can simplify 6 over 3 to just be 2. Or I have x is negative 5 over 3 plus 1 over 3, which is negative 4 over 3. Can't do anything to simplify that. So I have two possible values. I either have x equals 2 or x equals negative 4 over 3. And so this tells me that my solution set is either x equals 2 or x equals negative 4 over 3. And those are the answers.